Erebus stared at the Ni0sec Limited logo. It mocked him. The elite cybersecurity firm was his Everest. He dreamt of breaching their defenses. His fingers danced across the keyboard. He was ready to begin. This was more than a challenge. It was an obsession. Ni0sec was known for its impenetrable security. They boasted of thwarting even the most sophisticated attacks. This only fueled Erebus's desire. He lived for the thrill of the impossible. He would show them. He would break through their defenses. He would make them regret their arrogance. Erebus was a phantom, a ghost in the machine. He moved through the digital world unseen. His real identity was a closely guarded secret. Only his alias, Erebus, was known. He was a legend in the dark corners of the internet, a black hat hacker of immense skill. His reputation was built on a foundation of successful breaches. He had infiltrated government agencies, multinational corporations, and even other cybersecurity firms. But Ni0sec was different. They were the ultimate prize. He would conquer them. He would etch his name into the annals of hacking history. Erebus began his reconnaissance. He needed to understand Ni0sec's defenses. He scoured the internet for information. Every scrap of data was valuable. He examined their website, looking for vulnerabilities. He explored their social media presence. He studied the profiles of Ni0sec employees. He looked for weaknesses. He searched for patterns. He dug deep into online forums. He was looking for any clues, anything that could give him an edge. Social media was a goldmine. Employees often shared details about their work. Careless posts revealed information about Ni0sec's infrastructure. Erebus meticulously compiled his findings. He was building a map of the fortress. He discovered the email addresses of key personnel. He learned about their security protocols. He identified potential points of entry. The reconnaissance phase was crucial. It was the foundation of his attack. He was patient. He would wait for the perfect opportunity. Erebus crafted a spear-phishing email. It was a work of art. The email appeared to be from a trusted source. It contained a link to a seemingly innocuous document. The target was a senior system administrator at Ni0sec. The email was personalized. It referenced recent industry news. It even mentioned the target's alma mater. The goal was to make the email appear legitimate, to lull the recipient into a false sense of security. Erebus knew that even the most vigilant could be fooled. The system administrator clicked the link. The document opened. It looked like a routine report, but hidden within the document was a malicious payload. A tiny piece of code that would grant Erebus access to Ni0sec's network. The payload executed silently. There were no warning signs, no flashing alerts. The system administrator was none the wiser. Erebus had successfully breached the perimeter. The first step was complete. The spear had found its mark. Erebus now had a foothold within Ni0sec's network. He was a digital intruder. He moved cautiously. He avoided detection. He was like a ghost in the machine. His presence was invisible. He established a backdoor, a secret entrance that he could use to access the network at will. He covered his tracks. He erased his digital footprints. He was careful not to trigger any alarms. He began to explore the network. He mapped its architecture. He identified critical systems. He studied the network traffic. He was gathering intelligence. He was learning the lay of the land. He was patient. He knew that rushing could compromise his mission. He bided his time. He waited for the opportune moment to strike. He was like a predator stalking its prey. He was ready to escalate his attack. Section 5. Escalation. Climbing the ladder of privilege. Erebus began to escalate his privileges. He needed greater access. He exploited vulnerabilities in the system. He leveraged his initial foothold to gain control of more powerful accounts. He was climbing the ladder of privilege. He gained access to administrator accounts. These accounts granted him near complete control over the network. He could now access sensitive data. He could modify system configurations. He was the master of the domain. He installed additional malware. He created more backdoors. He fortified his position. He was ensuring his control over the network. He was making it harder for Ni0sec to detect and remove him. He was careful to avoid detection. He minimized his network activity. He blended in with the normal traffic. He was a chameleon. He was adapting to his environment. He was becoming one with the system. Section 6. Command and Control, the Puppet Master. Erebus established a command and control server. This server was his base of operations. It allowed him to remotely control the compromised systems within Ni0sec's network. He was the Puppet Master. The command and control server was located on a secure server in a foreign country. It was virtually untraceable. It was his sanctuary. It was the nerve center of his operation. He used encrypted communication channels. He masked his traffic. He made it appear as if the communication was originating from legitimate sources. He was hiding in plain sight. He could now issue commands to the compromised systems. He could exfiltrate data. He could manipulate systems. He had complete control. He was the unseen hand guiding the actions of the compromised machines. Section 7. Exfiltration, the silent thief. Erebus began exfiltrating data. He was a silent thief. He stole sensitive information. He downloaded confidential documents. He copied proprietary code. He was stealing Nazirosek's crown jewels. He transferred the data to his secure server. He used encrypted channels. He compressed the data to minimize transfer time. He was careful not to raise any alarms. He exfiltrated the data in small chunks. He blended his traffic with the normal network activity. He was like a ghost. He moved unseen. He was leaving no trace. He had achieved his objective. He had breached Nazirosek's defenses. He had stolen their secrets. He had proven his prowess. He was a legend. Section 8. Detection, the alarm bells ring. Nazirosek's security team detected unusual traffic patterns. The alarm bells were ringing. Something was amiss. They noticed a spike in data leaving their network. It was a red flag. They initiated an investigation. They analyzed the network logs. They reviewed security camera footage. They scoured their systems for malware. They were looking for the source of the breach. They used sophisticated detection tools. They employed intrusion detection systems. They utilized security information and event management software. They were determined to find the intruder. They discovered the backdoors. They found the malware. They realized they had been breached. The hunt was on. They would find the perpetrator. They would bring them to justice. Section 9. Containment and eradication, plugging the holes. Nazirosek's security team moved quickly to contain the breach. They isolated the compromised systems. They blocked the backdoors. They prevented further data exfiltration. They were plugging the holes. They eradicated the malware. They removed all traces of Erebus's presence. They cleaned their systems. They restored their network to its pre-breach state. They were rebuilding their defenses. They implemented stricter security measures. They strengthened their passwords. They updated their software. They improved their intrusion detection systems. They were learning from their mistakes. They conducted a thorough security audit. They identified vulnerabilities. They implemented best practices. They were determined to prevent future breaches. They would not be victims again. Section 10. The Hunt. Following the digital breadcrumbs. Nazirosek's security team launched a cyber hunt. They were following the digital breadcrumbs. They traced Erebus's activities. They analyzed his methods. They were building a profile of the attacker. They traced his IP address. They identified his command and control server. They discovered his dark web forums. They were piecing together the puzzle. They linked his alias Erebus to a real person. They uncovered his true identity. They discovered his location. They were closing in. They shared their findings with law enforcement. They worked with Interpol to track down Erebus. They were determined to bring him to justice. Section 11. The Takedown, Justice Served. Interpol launched a takedown operation. They raided Erebus's hideout. They seized his computers. They arrested him. His reign of terror was over. Erebus was extradited to face trial. He was charged with multiple counts of cybercrime. He was found guilty. He was sentenced to a lengthy prison term. Justice had been served. The takedown of Erebus highlighted the resilience of cybersecurity efforts. It demonstrated that even the most skilled hackers can be caught. It sent a message to the cybercriminal underground. Nazirosek emerged from the breach stronger than ever. They had learned valuable lessons. They had improved their security posture. They were a symbol of resilience. They were a testament to the power of cybersecurity.